Most people are familiar with the classic 1939 film, The Wizard of Oz. However, many are not aware that the book, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, was written by L. Frank Baum 39 years before in 1900. Contrary to what some would think, there is not much correlation between the book and film. The book was written to express Baum's political philosophy of the Populist era, while the movie was written for Hollywood entertainment. For the purpose of our movie, we are using pictures, audio, and clips from the film to express the book's representation of the Populist era. Lyman Frank Baum, or more commonly known as L. Frank Baum, was born in New York in 1856. After being unsuccessful as a newspaper journalist and businessman, Baum started writing for children in his 40s. He published a collection of nursery rhymes in 1897 and published another collection in 1899. His biggest success, however, was his book, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, published in 1900. Every character in The Wonderful Wizard of Oz represents someone or a group of people during the Populist era. Dorothy Gale represents the regular people of the Populist era and is thought to be a sort of every woman. Baum viewed the country as unknowing and innocent, just as Dorothy was when she had possession of the silver shoes. The Good Witch of the North represents the northern electorate, and the Good Witch of the South represents the southern electorate. This story takes place no more than 40 years after the Civil War. The Wicked Witches of the East and West represent the bankers of each part of the country. By killing them both, the poor people of the country, the Munchkins, were freed. The Munchkins represent two things: the lower-class poor people and the child labor force. The poor children had to work instead of going to school to help their families.
I'd be brave as a blizzard.
I'd be gentle as a lizard.
I'd be clever as a gizzard.
If the wizard is a wizard who will serve,
Then I'm sure to get a brain,
A heart.
a home.
the knave.
The Scarecrow represents the farmers during the Populist era. Many viewed the common farmers as ignorant and brainless, as the Scarecrow was, but after he got assistance, he felt as if he could be another Lincoln. The Tin Woodsman represents the industrial workers of the time period. These workers worked long hours with low wages. They couldn't argue for themselves because labor unions were either prohibited or powerless. The Cowardly Lion represents the politicians. The politicians had the power through the Constitution and Congress to confront the banks, the Wicked Witches, but they lacked the courage to do so. The Wizard of Oz is initially quite majestic, but he turns out to be a little man without the power that the people assume he possesses. He represents the President of the United States. From Dorothy's silver slippers to the yellow brick road, specific objects and places in The Wonderful Wizard of Oz represent certain ideas of the time period.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road.
The silver slippers represent silver, a safer, more powerful form of currency during the time. The silver slippers, silver-based money, are so powerful that anything Dorothy wishes for is possible. The yellow brick road represents the banker's gold standard. Businessmen felt that the gold would give them more economic power, but it was actually an insufficient form of currency. The Emerald City essentially represents Washington, D.C., the central place in the United States where everything is controlled.
Ho, and a couple of tra-la-las. That's how we laugh a day away in the merry old land of Oz. Buzz, 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 chuck, 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 and a couple of la-dee-das. That's how the crickets squeak all day in the merry old land of Oz.
Dorothy's home state of Kansas represents normality for her. She wants to return home, just as the people of the Populist era wanted to return to a better economic time in the country's history. And at the conclusion of the story, Dorothy realizes,
Oh, Auntie Em, there's no place like home.